Hello, everyone. My name is John Caggiano. I'm a Rockport artist and member of the Rockport Art Association. I'd like to welcome you to the Meet the Artist series of the Rockport Art Association and Museums program, and it's in honor of our upcoming centennial, which honors longtime artist members and looks forward to a new generation of artists in all media. For the uninitiated, the Art Association is composed of roughly 250 artist members, and then upwards, it varies, of 1,000 associate members. And it's an association founded by and for artists to share their beautiful artwork with the community and the world, actually, because we get many visitors coming to our facilities, and they're very large, beautiful facilities. Today, it's my honor to be with a longtime friend and one of the oldest members of the Rockport Art Association and Museum, Chris Pitman.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
So it's interesting to me. I interview many people and know many people. Their very backgrounds and where they're from and how they all wind up in Rockport. So where were you born and raised, for instance?
I was born and raised in Holyoke, in the western part of the state.
In Massachusetts?
Yeah, and on the Connecticut River, yeah.
And
I lived there until I got married, and my husband was in the Navy. Mm-hmm. So we went to Baltimore, Maryland. And from there, we just kept moving around.
Is that what brought you to Ohio and Tennessee and other places?
No, he was in the Navy through the Second World War.
Yes.
And then we went back to Holyoke. And then he got a job. He didn't like the job he had there, so we went to New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Then we went to Ohio. And then we went to Nashville, Tennessee.
And so it was in Ohio, Tennessee that you studied?
I studied everywhere I went.
Okay.
When I graduated from high school, my father's business went bankrupt. He had a furniture store. And so I couldn't go to art school. And every place I went, I signed up at the local college for the art classes. So I've been to 5 colleges, or if they didn't have a college, I joined the art league. Mm-hmm. And took lessons.
I noticed from your background that you had, and perhaps still, are a member of many art associations, and an elected member of academic artists, apparently, and have won many awards, in fact. A good number.
Encouraging.
It's always encouraging when our work is recognized, isn't it? So, and how did you arrive in Rockport?
Well, when my husband was going to retire, he said, we got to move back to the ocean, because he grew up on Long Island.
Yes.
And so we started in Norfolk, Virginia. We went all the way up the coast to Camden, Maine, and decided we liked Rockport best of all.
As the many of our colleagues.
And we bought a house in Gloucester on the coast. And then I found Rockport. I said, we got to move to Rockport.
Okay.
Because he's a sailor and I'm a painter, so there we were.
Of course, over the years, because of moving to Rockport, you've met many friends and colleagues. Who were your closest friends here?
The first one I met was Jenny Wilhelm.
Oh, yes.
And she introduced me to a lot of the others, the Nicholases and all the but when I first came here, I was doing portraits in Nashville, and I decided to go in with Jack Callahan, take his course. And so I met people there, and it just kept growing, you just keep finding more and more people. And then I became associated with the Art Association as the background, I call it. the working background. And I hung shows, and eventually I got on got in as a member. And so it just went on from there.
I see. You mentioned two more names that hadn't come up before, and they just keep piling up. There have been so many wonderful artists here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I worked with John Wentworth and
Oh, yes.
Carl Gustafson. We hung the shows for years.
Yes.
And then when they quit, I did them myself with help from other people.
Sure. And at what point did you meet Betty Lou Schlem?
Well, she was the other one I wanted to study with when I came here.
Okay.
And her class was full. Somebody had to practically die before you got in her class. So I had to wait till she had an opening. And I
Okay.
got in with her, and I stayed with her for 30-some years. I was her monitor in the summer for her workshops. And I hadn't done any watercolors until then, until I joined her class.
Yes. Okay. And she's a fabulous watercolorist as well.
Yeah. So.
And you obviously made a fast friendship with her,
Oh yeah.
which has lasted all these
Yeah,
many
she's a
years.
good friend.
Wow. And who else did you study with?
Studied with Jack Callahan, Jankowski,
Zig Jankowski.
and I took a couple of courses with T.M. Nicholas.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I can't remember them all.
Okay.
They,
So it runs the gamut, really. From T.M. Nicholas's representational work, Zig Jankowski eventually found himself as an abstract painter for the most part.
Well, actually, when I lived in Nashville, I was an abstract painter. I went to University of Tennessee for 6 years, and I had a wonderful teacher, but he was more of an abstract teacher and a painter, and so that's how I got into it. And so when I lived in Nashville, I did almost all, not really abstract, but semi-abstract.
Yes.
You know, turning the realistic stuff into a little bit something more interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we talk about this painting, since we're talking about styles? Now this seems to be somewhere in between. Can you speak about it?
Well, I don't know. I consider it more realistic than most of the things I did.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, I love flowers. But I don't like them done very tightly the way most people do them.
Yes.
I just like to do them so you kind of figure, oh, that must be a lilac, you know?
Right.
So,
It seems you have fun with color.
color, oh, I don't know. It's just, I kind of put in what I see. Yeah.
And whatever comes out from
Yeah.
you, and you
Yeah.
run with it, I guess.
That's the way the
Yes?
still life was, so.
You came here, studied. Meanwhile, you were taking care of a family?
Oh yeah, I had 5 children.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And so you were holding one child in one hand and a brush with
They
the
had
other?
a lot of paint on their clothes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I didn't start painting seriously until after I got married. And I had always drawn and done things, you know, like in school, that sort of thing. But after I got married, we were in Baltimore, so I joined the Maryland Institute. But then we got transferred.
Yeah.
So, but every place I went, I studied and worked my way up. And I worked in oils
For the most part, yeah?
exclusively at that time. And I went to Denison University for 5 years.
And Denison
And-
is in Maryland?
Yeah, it's in Ohio,
Oh, in Ohio.
Granville, Ohio.
Okay.
And I started the art league there.
Oh,
And now they have over 300 members. They own a great big house and a barn, and it's been very successful.
it's amazing what happens from a little seed.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, yeah, I'll do this. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it grows and grows.
There was no interest in art in Newark, Ohio at the time. And so I went up to Denison University and talk them into having a class for adults. So we met at night and had a class there, and then it just snowballed.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
They have you to thank for that.
Yeah.
Don't they?
They made me a life member.
Well, that's some compensation,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is nice to know that you had an effect on that
Right.
area
Right.
in a
Yeah.
very positive way, eh? Yeah. So, there's this painting here, and you mentioned about the abstract style. So how has your painting changed over the years? Did it go toward this type of work or towards the abstraction?
I was a very
back and
realistic
forth.
painter to start with, yeah, like everybody else. And it just gradually just kept loosening up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you go back to abstraction at some point, or?
Every now and then I run one off.
Okay.
Yeah. I find them more interesting
Mm-hmm.
and more interesting to do.
Yes.
I just kind of get, this, I just paint,
Sure.
I can paint what I see mostly, and especially a landscape. I'm not a great landscape painter, but I used to enjoy being outside and working, but it's just, I find making things abstract gives you a whole different viewpoint.
Yes.
Yeah,
And expands your mind.
right,
You don't become a slave to the subject matter before you.
yeah.
Right.
I never get into this business of, it has to be this way, that way, the composition has to be like this. I never did that. I've always kind of did it by osmosis, I guess.
And a certain amount of confidence, obviously, to do that.
Yeah,
Because most people would be a bit afraid to, go out of the box and not paint between the lines.
right.
We can go on with those analogies, but and you like to paint this size, or smaller, or larger?
I paint either that size or half sheets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you painting strictly in watercolor these days?
No, I work at acrylics now.
Okay, because
Well, I really enjoyed oil painting. I just love oil painting. But then after I worked with Betty Lou for so long in the watercolors, all my oils dried up. so I got into the acrylics, and I like them because they dry fast.
yes,
That's the best thing about them. And now they have a special palette that keeps it wet.
okay.
So you can you can paint outside. Up to then, you could not really paint outside comfortably because the paint would dry faster than you could put it on the canvas.
And, sorry, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt. Okay, so you don't have to spray it.
No, it has a blotter underneath, and it'll last a couple of weeks.
Wow,
It has a cover over it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's called Painter's Pal.
It certainly is a palette.
Yeah,
Wow, that's great.
so that's what I've been doing, mostly acrylics.
And you don't have the odors of solvents
right.
and other things. You don't have
Yeah.
to get that on your hands. And
Yeah,
they're very convenient. Do you have a small studio in your home, or?
I have a whole floor. The whole
Wow.
top floor of my townhouse is.
I'm coming to live with you.
Yeah, and I have a workshop in the basement where I frame. I work for Second Glance,
Yes.
and I do all their artwork.
And
I
Second
frame
Glance is
as a thrift shop
which?
for Open Door.
For Open Door, which is a charity,
Yeah.
the food pantry, etc.
And so I frame things for them.
That's very nice of you.
I price everything. I clean it. I work there one day a week, and I do all my own framing. and matting.
Wow.
So
There's
keeps me
no,
busy.
no grass under your feet. That's amazing. Wow. And you have been and still are to some extent active in the Rockport Art Association and the museum, of course. We
I've
have to
been
call it today.
I've been on every committee they ever had. I was on the board for 22 years until my husband got sick and
Right.
he had a stroke, so I had to quit. And
You were on my board, in fact.
yeah, it just I've always been sort of in the background, you know,
Yes.
in the art associations or the art leagues or whatever I joined.
Well, you're too modest.
So I figure, well, somebody has to do the work.
Absolutely. How long have you been a member of the Rockport Art Association?
Since 1981.
Okay, quite a while. So you've seen many changes there.
Yeah, it's changed completely.
Yes, what mostly stands out to you?
It was just a friendlier group of people at the time, and of course I knew everybody because I hung the shows,
Yes.
and I could look at any painting and say, "Oh, that's John Caggiano's," you know. So it was really interesting.
And I paid you enough for a good spot. I'm only joking. But so it was much smaller then too. The membership level.
I don't know what the membership was.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you could always get someone to do something.
Yes.
You know, now a lot of the people live away since they've expanded the membership. They live away, so they're not available to do any of the work,
Right.
to running the place. And it just, I don't know what the problem is, but
All the more need for people like yourself to
Yeah.
help out.
Well-
I do remember you there quite often and helping Ann Fisk,
and Fisk, yeah,
a former director,
yeah.
executive director
Took
of
a
the
lot
Art
of trips with
Association.
her.
Took a lot of trips. That's right. Tell us about one of the trips, one of the painting trips.
Oh, I went to Mexico twice with her, and I went to Greece with her, and then some trips, you know, day trips.
And these were large groups,
Maybe around 20 people.
and she would arrange these.
She arranged it, and then we would go and stay at a certain place, and yeah.
A week or two.
Santa
or-
Fe, we went to Santa Fe. Yeah,
And for a week or 10 days.
a week. Yeah,
All right.
usually.
That must have been a lot of fun
Yeah,
and productive. Yes.
yeah. In Mexico, we stayed in the state treasurer's summer house, and that was quite a place. Had a swimming pool and everything.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Probably more swimming than painting went on that week.
Well, in Santa Fe, I did more shopping than anything. Yeah.
Great place. And did you make the rounds of the galleries in Santa Fe and
Pardon?
make the go to many galleries in Santa Fe?
Oh, yeah.
There are quite
Oh,
a few. Yes.
It's a great place. Yes.
What was your favorite place to go?
I think Santa Fe.
You think so?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. So, who inspires you now in terms of your artwork, or has that remained the same, or it's like what artists?
Well, I've slowed down a lot, you know, so I'm not doing as much painting, so it's hard to say if anybody's influencing me. I still like paintings that are just a little bit off the realistic level.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, why don't we pause and we'll put the other painting
Okay.
up that you've brought,
All right.
and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Great. We'll be right back. Or before.
When I came here, I had to, I tried to get into the Art Association and I didn't get in with abstract paintings. So I thought, well, I guess I'll have to join them. So,
Oh, okay.
so
It's amazing how it's changed.
yeah.
Now you can be an abstract painter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They used
Well,
to.
it's gradual. It was the same with
Sure.
photographers.
Yes.
You know, at one time you had to be just a serious painter, and that was it. and now they accept most anything.
Right, and photographers are full members of the association
Yes.
as well.
That's right.
Did you associate with a group that used to show in Redmond's Hall, which was an old building on Front Beach?
No.
And it was mostly the abstract painters who came from the association.
I don't go back that far.
Okay. Well, they may have still been in existence in the maybe early 80s, maybe just into the 70s.
I never heard of them.
Okay. It may have predated your membership. It
Yeah.
certainly predated mine,
Yeah.
but I was
Well,
aware
you
of
came
them.
just before, or just after I
Just
did.
about the same time.
Yeah. We moved here in '77.
All right, so you were here before me.
Yeah.
So. And once in a while you still go back to abstraction?
Once in a while.
Yes?
Yeah. I haven't done any big paintings for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I did one, the last one I did won a prize at Rockport. That's the last one I did. I thought, well, that's
Congratulations.
finishing up on top.
Yeah. Not finished yet. What do you enjoy most about painting? I don't ever ask anyone this. What do you enjoy most when you're painting?
When I'm painting, I
Yeah.
just forget everything.
Okay.
I forget everything, especially if I'm doing an abstract, because I just get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, this has to go here, this has to go there, but I just do it without thinking.
And at the time when you were doing a lot more abstraction, were there abstract painters who influenced you or who you were
My
attracted
teacher was an abstract painter
All right.
at the University of Tennessee,
Okay.
and he influenced me more than anybody.
So were there national or international painters that you liked? Bonnet Newman, Pollock, all those other big names, or was it not a factor?
Actually, I think I started getting interested when I was at Denison University, because the two art teachers there were abstract painters also. But, and I did a few abstract things there. So I guess, I don't know, maybe I've always had that feeling about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just find them more interesting to do and to look at.
Keeps things fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think people that look at it find it different, that they're more interested.
Yes.
So
I would think one would elicit.
I shouldn't be saying
of-
that to you because you're a realistic painter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I enjoy abstraction as much as any artist does or should. And especially the color. I love color. But it's not about me, it's about you. So, back to the association, just briefly, you've been a member so long, and if you don't mind me saying, I introduced you as the youngest, oldest member of the Art Association. You're 100 this past year, aren't you?
Yeah, November.
And no one can believe it.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps celebrating your birthday,
That's
aren't
right.
they?
Yeah. Well, I still volunteer everywhere, so
Yeah.
everybody had a party for me.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Keep partying.
Yeah.
Where do you see the association going now? You've seen the past. You've
I
seen the evolution. Where do you see it going?
I think the new director is going to be a big asset.
Jim Craig.
I think so. He's got a lot on the ball. He's progressive in his thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really impressed with him. And the girls that work there are very good too. Yeah,
So good leadership,
yeah. I
good
think so.
staff, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
And do you see new programs there, or?
Well, you remember years ago, we used to have more get-togethers.
Yes.
We would have parties. We had the president's tea in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was open all winter.
Yes.
And we had a summer fair where we got rid of all our extra stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I miss that.
Yes. I haven't.
Of course, that was a lot of work. I ran all those things.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Perhaps that's a project that should be worked on. It would be wonderful to see some of those things come back.
Yeah, yeah. We had potluck dinners. We had, I mean, we were always getting together and doing things, and they don't have that anymore.
Again, back to it's more of a business, and we still have, what, 52 or so exhibitions a year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's an extremely active
It is,
association.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It offers a lot.
You know,
And the facilities are so fabulous.
yes, and
It's one of the
and
nicest.
owned without and no mortgage.
It's one of the nicest galleries around. Yeah.
Yes, I'd say. Were you involved with this past year with the national show that
No.
was put on by the association?
No.
So that was something new
Yeah.
that occurred. So it keeps growing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and you keep growing. Thank you. Yes. Thanks for coming today.
Oh. You mean
It's
over?
been my honor to be with you.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be over.
No.
If you'd like to go on and on, it's fine. It's fine with me.
Yeah.
So, anything you'd like to say before we
I
end the
don't
segment?
know. No, I don't know. It's just, I just enjoy it. It's just changed my whole life when I moved here. Enjoy the Art Association. I mean, it just, everything all came together. And I've always been a craft person. I've done pottery, weaving, enameling, jewelry. I've taken courses in all, you know, lots of different things, but I always went back to the painting.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite?
Yeah.
No.
But now I'm wondering what to do with all the paintings.
Don't worry about that.
There's-
That'll be taken care of.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be many people who
have a
want your
big
painting.
sale.
We all think of that
Oh,
issue.
I know.
Just keep painting.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we do. So,
Yeah.
it's been my honor today to have you here.
Oh.
You're a great friend.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this segment, and we hope to see you soon.